Right then. Hello, let's talk about money. Specifically, shiny, heavy, can I buy a sandwich with this money? Did you know some countries still have gold coins as legal tender? Yes, that's right. In certain corners of the world, you could, theoretically, plonk down a piece of actual gold on a counter and be legally entitled to, well, something. It's a concept that feels ripped straight out of a pirate movie or, at the very least, a particularly aggressive board game of Settlers of Catan. But it is, I assure you, a very real, very modern thing. Now, before you start melting down your grandmother's jewelry to go on a shopping spree, let's be absolutely clear. While most of these gold coins are indeed for investment, shiny discs of metal for people who trust pirates more than they trust the stock market. A few are technically spendable in shops. This creates a wonderfully absurd situation where a coin might have a face value of, say, $50, but the gold it's made of is worth $2,000. Using it to buy groceries would be like using a Fabergé egg to play catch. It's technically possible, but financially catastrophic and, frankly, just a bit silly. So tonight, we're going to dive into this glittering rabbit hole. We'll look at the countries clinging to this golden tradition, from the ones where it's a genuine economic tool to the ones where it's more of a symbolic nod to a bygone era. We'll explore the bizarre gap between face value and metal value, and why you'd have to be either breathtakingly wealthy or spectacularly bad at math to actually spend one of these things. So grab your monocle and your tiny scales, because we're about to find out where in the world your pirate treasure is still technically spendable. It's going to be fascinating and slightly ridiculous. My favorite combination. Let's start with the absolute superstar of this entire slightly mad concept, Zimbabwe. Because while most countries treat their legal tender gold coins like museum pieces that happen to have a price tag, Zimbabwe has leaned in, hard. They have a gold coin called the Mosi Oa-Tunya, which translates to the smoke that thunders, a name so epic it sounds like it should be announced by James Earl Jones. And unlike its global counterparts, this isn't just a shiny paperweight for investors. It's designed to be used. Yes, you heard me correctly. In Zimbabwe, you can actually use this coin in everyday transactions. It's a genuine, functioning part of their monetary system, introduced to combat soaring inflation. It's a bold, almost medievally simple solution to a complex modern problem. Our paper money is losing value too quickly? Fine. Here's a chunk of something that has been valuable since the pharaohs. Try inflating. It's an economic strategy that feels both revolutionary and incredibly old-fashioned, like using a trebuchet for package delivery. But it gets even more interesting. The Mosi Oa-Tunya isn't just for buying your daily bread, assuming your bread costs a significant amount of gold. It's a multi-tool. You can use it for savings, a stable store of value in a volatile economy. You can use it as collateral for a loan, which makes a certain amount of sense. But here's the kicker. After holding the coin for 180 days, you can convert it into a tradable liquid asset. They've managed to bridge the gap from ancient treasure to modern fintech. It's the only place on Earth where a gold coin is not just a relic, but a living, breathing, and even digitizable part of the economy. It's frankly astonishing. And then we move south to South Africa, home of the undisputed heavyweight champion of the gold coin world, the Krugerrand. This thing is the OG, the coin that basically invented the modern bullion market back in 1967. It is, by every definition, a massive success. Millions have been sold, it's instantly recognizable. And here's the fun part, it's legal tender under South African law. You could, in theory, walk into a Pick n Pay in Cape Town and use it. But here's where it gets wonderfully, legally, pedantically weird. The Krugerrand has no face value. None. Zero. It doesn't say 100 Rand or 50 Rand on it. Its value is simply the value of the gold it contains on that particular day. This makes it both legal tender and simultaneously impossible to spend in any practical sense. Imagine trying to buy a coffee with it. The barista would have to get a tiny scale, check the day's gold prices on their phone, and then do some complicated math, all while the queue behind you grows to the size of a small nation. It's a perfect illustration of the difference between legal tender and practical currency. The law says yes, you can use it. Reality, common sense, and the patience of retail workers say absolutely not. The Krugerrand's legal tender status is a legal fiction. A little wink from the government that says, yes, this is real money, but for God's sake, don't actually try to spend it. Put it in a safe, and look at it lovingly, you magnificent gold bug. You. It's money that's explicitly designed to be spent, which is a bit like a car designed never to leave the garage. Now, let's fly over to Australia, a country that looked at the gold coin situation and said, right, we'll do that, but let's make it adorable. They issued the Australian gold nugget, which is now more famously known as the gold kangaroo. And yes, these coins are absolutely legal tender under the Australian Currency Act of 1965. They have a face value stamped right on them, ranging from a few Australian dollars to a few thousand, so technically you can spend them. But here's the thing, you would have to be an absolute lunatic to do so. A 1-ounce gold kangaroo coin might have a face value of 100 Australian dollars. The actual market value of the gold in that coin, closer to 3,000 Australian dollars. Using it to buy something for 100 would be the financial equivalent of setting fire to a pile of cash just to light a cigarette. It's a spectacular way to lose money. The face value is purely symbolic, a legal formality that gives it the status of a coin rather than just a lump of expensive metal. What makes the Australian kangaroo particularly interesting, though, is its appeal to collectors. Unlike the Krugerrand, which keeps the same design year after year, the kangaroo on the Australian coin changes annually. This is a genius marketing move. It turns a simple investment vehicle into a collectible series. You don't just buy one, you have to get the 2021 kangaroo, and the 2022 kangaroo doing a slightly different hop, and the 2023 kangaroo looking pensively into the distance. It's the Pokemon of precious metals. You gotta catch them all, and in doing so, you're definitely not going to spend them at the local Woolworths. Now, for a quick European detour to the beautiful island nation of Malta. Yes, even this Mediterranean gem is in on the gold coin game. They issued the Melita series of gold bullion coins, which are not only gorgeous, featuring allegorical figures representing Malta, but are also designated as legal tender. And because Malta is in the Eurozone, these coins are denominated in euros. You can get a Melita coin with a face value of 10, 25, 50, or 100 euros. So you might think, aha, a gold coin denominated in a major global currency? This must be spendable. And you would be, once again, adorably wrong. The value of the gold in, for instance, the 100 euro coin is vastly, comically, astronomically higher than 100 euros. We're talking thousands of euros worth of precious metal. Spending it for its face value would be an act of charity so profound, so financially ruinous, that the shopkeeper might feel compelled to nominate you for sainthood. This makes the Maltese Melita a perfect example of a non-circulating legal tender, or NCLT. It's a category of currency created almost exclusively for collectors and investors. The legal tender part is a legal seal of approval from the central bank, guaranteeing its weight and purity. It's the government saying, this is official, it's real, it's ours. But the non-circulating part is the silent, screaming subtext. And if you even think about putting this in a vending machine, we will assume you've had a serious head injury and send for help. It's a coin that exists in a quantum state of being both money and not money at the same time. Of course, we have to talk about the United States, a country that loves gold so much it stores most of it in a famously impenetrable box in Kentucky. The US has a slightly different, more historical flavor to its legal tender gold. Modern bullion coins like the American Gold Eagle are, of course, legal tender with absurdly low face values. A 1-ounce coin worth over $2,000 has a face value of just $50. Again, spending it would be financially idiotic. But the truly fascinating part is the status of the historic US gold coins. We're talking about the beautiful pre-1933 currency, like the $10 Eagle and the stunning $20 Double Eagle. When President Franklin D. Roosevelt took the US off the gold standard, he recalled most of these coins, but he didn't strip them of their legal tender status. So, to this day, a $20 Double Eagle from 1908 is still legally worth $20. You can, by law, use it to pay a debt of $20. This, of course, would be an act of pure madness. That same $20 Double Eagle, depending on its condition and rarity, could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or in the case of one specific 1933 coin, nearly $19 million. Imagine the look on a cashier's face if you tried to buy a movie ticket with an object that could purchase the entire cinema. The US legal tender gold coins aren't just investments. They are historical artifacts, ghosts of a bygone monetary system that are legally obligated to haunt our modern financial world at their original, laughably low face value. Finally, let's do a quick world tour of the other members of this exclusive shiny club, because the list is surprisingly long. Take our polite neighbors to the north, Canada. They produce the gold maple leaf, another icon of the bullion world. It's renowned for its purity, 4 nines fine or 99.99% pure gold. And yes, it's legal tender with a face value of 50 Canadian dollars for a 1-ounce coin. A coin, I might add, that is worth well over 2,500 of those same Canadian dollars. So, no, you won't see anyone buying poutine with it. Then you have China, a massive player in the gold market. They issue the Chinese gold panda. Much like Australia's kangaroo, the panda's design also changes every year, making it highly collectible. It's legal tender, with face values in yuan that are, you guessed it, a tiny fraction of the coin's actual metallic worth. It's a beautiful piece, a symbol of national pride and a store of wealth, but it's not something you'd use to buy dumplings. The pattern is, by now, glaringly obvious. From the Austrian Philharmonic to the British Britannia, numerous other countries follow the exact same model. They mint official, government-backed gold coins, slap a nominal face value on them to make them legal tender, and then sell them to investors and collectors who understand the real game. The legal tender status is a mark of authenticity, a government guarantee. It's not an invitation to go shopping. It's a global system where money is created with the explicit understanding that it will never, ever be used as money. And if that's not a beautiful, baffling piece of modern economic theater, I don't know what is. So, there we have it. A journey through the strange and glittering world of gold coins as legal tender. We've seen that while the idea of paying for things with actual gold sounds like something out of an adventure novel, the modern reality is far more complex and, frankly, far more sensible. So while gold coins are legal tender in several countries, only Zimbabwe actually uses them in everyday commerce. For most others, they're more about investment and collecting than buying groceries. The legal tender status is less of a practical function and more of a stamp of authenticity, a government's way of saying, yes, this shiny thing is exactly what we say it is. For nations like the US, Australia, and Canada, these coins are a way to allow citizens to invest directly in a physical commodity, bypassing the complexities of the stock market. They are stores of wealth, hedges against inflation, and for some, beautiful collectible items with annually changing designs. The low face value is a deliberate feature, not a bug, ensuring that these valuable assets remain in safes and display cases, not in cash registers. It's a clever system that preserves the coin's value as a commodity while giving it the official backing of a currency. Ultimately, the world of legal tender gold coins is a fascinating intersection of history, economics, and human psychology. It speaks to our enduring fascination with gold and our desire for a tangible store of value in an increasingly digital world. While you almost certainly won't be using a Krugerrand or a gold maple leaf to pay for your next coffee, their existence is a reminder that the definition of money is more varied and more interesting than we often think. It's a world where value is disconnected from price, and where a coin can be worth both $50 and $2,000 all at the same time. And that is wonderfully, brilliantly nuts. Thanks for watching.